Morning Tallahassee, and thank you for joining us on this Tuesday evening. I'm student meteorologist Brittany Bowman.
And I'm student meteorologist Michael Onnen.
And kind of a miserable day today.
Yeah.
Very rainy, and it got cooler as the day went on when that rain started to make its way into Tallahassee.
Yeah, big time. We had a drop. Our temperature was 77 degrees at 2 p.m. Now it's below 60 degrees at this point.
Yeah, I was just outside moments ago, and just the rain on top of that cold temperatures, it really just was a miserable walk for me.
Yeah, it's just been gloomy. At least yesterday was gloomy and we didn't have the rain. Today, just in the afternoon, we got that rain and it's not warm now, and so it feels disgusting outside.
Yeah, but we will see a change into our forecast within the next couple days, and maybe this weekend we'll see some really nice weather for our football game on Saturday.
Oh yeah, it looks like we're going to have an improving forecast by the weekend, but we have to get through the wet and some chilly conditions for the rest of the week.
But things will start to dry out as we get into the weekend, thankfully. And the dry conditions will actually stick around going into next week. So if you're not a fan of this rainy weather we've been having a lot of lately, next week looks like a very nice week.
Yeah, and also we're monitoring what's happening out towards California with the wildfire situation. Nothing has really helped in terms of the weather out there, and so we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But for now, we're going to send it out to the wall with our overview.
Thanks, Michael and Brittany. It is currently 60 degrees here in Tallahassee, and as I'm sure you've noticed, lots of showers and heading into our area. This is those coming in off the Gulf, pushing northward, bringing in lots of rain. Not too much, just a drizzle. And here it is coming across most of the southeast over our area. Tonight, still have a 50% chance of rain. The low for tonight will be 54, cloudy, not too much rain, but just a chance of it. For your 3-day forecast, tomorrow that rain will be persisting, 90% chance. Moving into Thursday, only a 20% chance, but cooler, 57 and 57 on Friday, but by then the sun will have come out. For this weekend, so the rain will continue, but the front will stall out, so that'll bring in that cooler air that will persist throughout the week, and that'll be nice and dry by the end of the weekend.
All right, thank you, Noel. And this is always my favorite part of the show. We give a warm welcome to our newest member of the FSU Weather family. Welcome aboard the team. We're happy to have you here. As for what we're seeing around the Big Bend area here, going into a bit more detail, like we've already been talking about on the desk a couple times, a bit of a gloomy one out there. Saw some rain really starting to kick in around, say, 3 o'clock here. The sun has gone down and the clouds are sticking around, with some scattered showers still lingering in the area. The big difference besides that from earlier today is the fact that things have really cooled down quite a bit. So some showers still in the area. We're down to 60 degrees now. As Michael said, it was all the way up in the upper 70s in the afternoon. We actually saw that temperature drop as we work through the mid to late afternoon hours here with that cold front moving through. Winds out of the north now around 10 miles per hour. It's been a bit gusty out there, really bringing some of that cooler air in from the north. Although, again, that cloud cover is still there and a lot of moisture at the upper levels helping to support this continued rainfall. Here's a still image right now, that satellite and radar. This front just trying to creep through the Tallahassee area right about now. So some of our eastern areas are actually still seeing the warmer temperatures and that even more humid air. Areas like Perry and further off towards the Florida Peninsula seeing some of that, and still some moisture behind this, a bit of an upper level feature helping to steer some of this out of the southwest before we get that high pressure to really try to work its way in over the next few days into the later portion of the week. So again, right around Tallahassee, still seeing some showers in the area, although Leon County is sort of splitting the uprights right about now. Some rain in Jefferson counties as well as over towards, say, areas like Quincy and Midway, seeing a little bit heavier rain as we work through 6 o'clock here, but things should calm down just a little bit. Still a threat of some scattered showers later on. Again, temperatures in the area, you really see it. Perry's at 72 despite getting some rainfall here. Still out ahead of this front just a little bit with much cooler air settling in behind that. So an hour's drive can drop that temperature by 10 to 15 degrees through many of these areas, which is rather remarkable, especially through the middle portion of the day here. As again, we saw those temperatures dropping 15 degrees in just about 3 hours' time in the middle of the day. The winds also showing this. Perry's just starting to get that front coming through now. Winds are out of the northwest at 17 miles per hour, really kicking up in those areas. 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the north and northwest for most other cities in the Big Bend area here. So a bit of a gusty one for the rest of the evening And again, we're starting to see further evidence of that cold front with that moisture starting to drop a little bit at the surface off to our west here. Although, again, we still have plenty at the upper levels to work with supporting that continued rainfall, though the dew point has dropped to 54 degrees in Bainbridge, 57 in Quincy. But if I step off to the side here, you'll see Perry still nice and muggy at 70 degrees over there. As for tonight, we're expecting temperatures to drop a bit more to 54 degrees. Cloudy skies sticking around with the threat of some showers. We're calling for a 50% chance, and the winds will stay northerly and a little bit breezy at times, right around 10 miles per hour for the most part. For the day planner tomorrow, temperatures heating up into the lower 60s here, so a much cooler day than we saw earlier today here. And again, showers sticking around for pretty much the entirety of the day from that morning commute all the way to your drive back home at the end of the day. For the 24-hour forecast, again, calming down a little bit overnight. The clouds do stick around, but then tomorrow you see that rain starting to build back in towards the western side of our area, as well as the western Florida panhandle. Pretty much a carbon copy of what we saw here today, although, again, those temperatures will be a bit cooler for the most part here, especially as compared to what we saw earlier this morning. Again, rainfall totals from 1 to 3 inches are possible, even more possible in areas of central Georgia. And we could be watching for the possibility of a scattered flooding threat, especially off to our north and west. As for the 7-day forecast, brighter days are ahead. Friday, 57 degrees for that high temperature, not that low, and a perfect day to wear the black jerseys on Saturday against Boston College, 65 degrees under bright and sunny skies. Going to hand things off to Michael for a broader look at the southeast.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. Not only here in Tallahassee, but across a lot of the southeast, another gloomy day. But down towards Key West, it's warm, it's sunny, it actually feels nice outside. And if any one of you Northerners want to go down to Key West, that's the place to be right now. Because if you see the rest of the southeast, it is not nice. 49 in Montgomery, 48 in Atlanta, and if you know me very well, I call that raw weather. Behind that front, well behind the front, is chilly. 37 out towards Jackson, 38 in Little Rock. And remember, it's the middle of November. This is more usual of the middle of January, so it is well below average in places like Little Rock and Jackson. And then out towards Texas, it was cold enough for some snow out towards San Antonio. They got some flurries early this morning, and it's 39 in Houston. Now the dew points, you see where the colder air is, the air is much drier. Dew points well into the teens in Dallas, 16, 28 out towards Houston. The one exception is where it's warmer and more humid. That's where you have the higher dew points, 59 in Tallahassee, 73 in Tampa, 68 in Orlando. That's where it feels more tropical outside. Now the reason why we have all this moisture streaming up ahead of the stalled out boundary, actually stalled out right over Tallahassee, and that's what's been the cause of this raw and gloomy weather up towards Atlanta and Montgomery. Just been having a lot of rain going over the region, and they don't really need much more rain. Got a lot of rain up towards Atlanta yesterday. Some places picked up some 5 inches of rain, and as a result, we have a flash flood watch in effect for another round of rain we're expecting tomorrow up there. And with the rain from yesterday, there's flood warnings for all these rivers. For example, the Big Creek up towards Alpharetta, Sweetwater Creek down toward Austell. So a lot of creeks are already swollen, and more rain expected tomorrow, just going to worsen the situation up there. Now, as we go into the overnight hours, the rain here in Tallahassee is expected to lighten up, but we're expecting that second round of rain up towards Montgomery and Atlanta, and it can be heavy at some times, pretty similar to what we expected Monday. So again, with the rivers already swollen up there, it won't take much rain for just the rivers to rise up once again. But down towards central Florida, it's going to be muggy with a few scattered showers, and in Texas, it's going to be dry, but still chilly out towards there. Now, as I was saying, we're expecting more rain in central and northern Georgia, as well as in central Alabama and the Panhandle. 1 to 3 inches expected there. They don't need much more rain for the flooding situation to worsen up there. A little bit less as you head down towards central and southern Florida. And then for central and southern Florida, we're expecting some thunderstorms, but not severe. For tonight's forecast, we're expecting warmer conditions down towards Florida with 72 in Tampa, 69 in Orlando. And then as we fast forward to tomorrow, you can see the chilly air still sticking around in Mississippi and into Arkansas with 30s, 36 in Jackson and 37 in Little Rock. But for now, I'm going to send it back off the desk with Jake, and we're going to talk about what's happening out in California.
Yeah, unfortunately, very unfortunate situation really occurring in California, for lack of a better term here. We have 3 major wildfires that are still occurring in both the northern and southern parts of the state.
Yeah, we have this one in Central California. This has been the main story, the Camp Fire.
Yeah, this is only 30% contained right now, and this has really been a big issue for many of these areas in north central California. 125,000 acres burned. This is among the most destructive wildfires in the history of the state, which is unfortunately well known for some of their wildfires around this time of year.
And it's also been one of the most deadly because it ripped through a pretty populated city, Paradise, California, which is in the Central Valley. So because of that, the death toll is right now standing at 42, and 200 people are missing.
Yeah, and that's not the only area of the state that's really seeing some significant impacts. We're also talking about the Woolsey fire down in Southern California, and not too far from Los Angeles.
Yeah, this is up towards the hills, just west of LA, and it actually swept through parts of Malibu. So some of the mansions up there, well-known mansions for some of these celebrities had to deal with.
Exactly. It's only 35% contained, this fire. 96,000 acres on this one are burned. We're also concerned about the Hill Fire in Ventura County, California as well, although thankfully this one is much more contained.
Yeah, this one's looking better at 90% contained. All this is due to the Santa Ana winds. Winds very gusty, 86 miles per hour in San Diego County earlier today.
Yeah, so at this point, you know, you'll break down what to expect here a little bit more in your national segment. So let's get you out there to the wall right now.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at what's happening here in California. You can see how in Los Angeles, 72 degrees right now with some cloudy skies. But probably the reason why it's cloudy out there is because of all the smoke from the fires. We've been dealing with some smoky skies out towards San Francisco. Had some issues yesterday for the Giants 49ers game out there last night. In the Intermountain West, though, it is chilly. 46 in Denver, 43 in Salt Lake City. But in the eastern two-thirds of the nation, that's where we're dealing with all the cold air, snow, and rain down towards the southeast. 21 in Minneapolis, 33 all the way down in Memphis. That is really chilly air. A little bit less chilly out towards Washington, D.C. with 48. And then the one warm spot on this map is, of course, central and southern Florida with 80 degrees in Miami. Where the colder air has infiltrated the rest of the U.S., you can see the drier dew points. 10-degree dew point in Minneapolis and Chicago, so some very dry Arctic air up there. Now down towards Florida, we're still ahead of that stalled out front, so some very muggy and tropical air down there. 59-degree dew point in Tallahassee and 77-degree dew point in Miami. But let me show you what's happening out west. The reason why those fires are not really subsiding, the air is so dry. 16-degree dew point in Los Angeles. And we saw some negative dew points. That tells you how dry the air is in the Central Valley out towards Central California. Now, the water vapor showing you we do have some moisture surging in, but part of it is the smoke, and then also we're getting this frontal system moving through, but most of the moisture is going to stay up towards the northwest and into Canada, so no relief for California, unfortunately. Out towards the east, we had that stalled out front, bringing a lot of moisture north of the front. You can see moisture out towards Tennessee and Kentucky, and that's going to get into what's happening tomorrow. We're expecting some major snow out there. We're going to get into that in just a few minutes. But this is all due to the stalled out boundary right over Tallahassee. The front has moved through the northern, northeast sections of the U.S., but this is not going to move much as we head into the rest of the work week, as we're just expecting rounds of rain to ride over this front for the rest of the work week. You can see just how this rain, it's subsiding a little bit in central Alabama and in the Panhandle, but it's going to re-energize as we go into tomorrow, just exacerbating flooding concerns once again in northern Georgia and in northern Alabama. And as a result, we do have a flash flood watch in dark green and flood warnings for all those rivers and creeks out towards the northwest side of Atlanta, just because they've received 5 inches of rain just yesterday alone in some locations. Now out towards the north U.S., you can see that low pressure system moving away with some snow up towards northern Maine and some lake effect snow in the Syracuse area, and we're expecting lots of snow out there. That's why we have a winter storm warning in effect in pink with winter weather advisories in purple. Let me quickly get to what we're expecting here. We're expecting the backside of that low pressure system in the Kentucky and southern Illinois area, so that's why we have winter storm watches and winter weather advisories out there. But as we fast forward to tomorrow, we'll watch the snow in the center part of the country. Cold but sunny everywhere else in the central part of the country, with 39 in Kansas City, 39 in Minneapolis. And then just the rain continuing out towards the southeast with 62 in Tallahassee and 49 in Atlanta. So another raw day up there. But now we're going to actually send it out to Noelle with a look at our second local forecast.
Thanks, Michael. As you can see, that rain really moved through our area and gave us a lot today. A little drenched outside, but that's due to this low pressure system that is soaring across the East Coast. And that is going to bring us a lot of rain, and later in the week, hopefully some cooler and drier air. But currently, these are those storms moving through our area, and that's just a drizzle, but not too much rain. Currently 60 degrees and scattered showers in our area. Here, 57 in Quincy, 59 Bainbridge. A little warmer actually down here in Perry, and that's actually where you can see where that low pressure system has stalled. For the wind speed, mostly coming out of the northwest and the north, that's also due to the low pressure system that's just past our area. 11 miles per hour in Tallahassee, even more in Monticello, 15. The dew point getting a little lower than it has been, 59 in Tallahassee. Down here in Perry, still a little muggy, again because of where that low pressure system has stalled out. But we hope to see these lower dew points in the 50s as we go into the rest of the week. Tonight's forecast, a little cooler, 49 in Tallahassee. Again, some rains in our area, 46 in Quincy. Thomasville also seeing that rain. For your dog walk forecast, not looking too good. It is going to be raining all day and only getting colder as the day progresses. So definitely bring a raincoat for both you and your furry friend. For your 24-hour forecast, this is those storms moving through the area, lots of cloud coverage. Not really going to see too much rain again until tomorrow afternoon when that rain comes back through. For the rainfall in our area, as you can see, lots of rain in Georgia, 3 inches, but down here in Tallahassee, we're probably only going to get 1 to 2 inches. For your 7-day, here's that rain persisting through the rest of the week, but by Friday, we are getting much colder temperatures, 57 as a high and 38 as a low. And that'll be what it's like throughout the weekend. Good temperatures on game day, 65, so don't have to worry too much about bringing sunscreen or a hat, but watch out for the rain that's going to be tomorrow and Thursday. And now I'm going to send it to the desk.
All right, thanks a lot, Noelle. We saw those temperatures in the 30s there, first real blast of Arctic air coming into our region. We're going to start talking about a little bit something that may apply for us later on in the winter.
Yeah, out towards January, you saw up towards Maine how we had those pinks and purples. That's indicating a winter mix. What does that really mean, Jake?
Right, so there's a whole bunch of different types of winter precipitation that you can really have, and it's a pretty fine line and a difficult forecast to really get all those different sorts of things right. You can have sleet, freezing rain, snow, and what really matters is essentially the vertical temperature distribution through the atmosphere. Does that precipitation get a chance to melt as it falls down?
Yeah, we'll start with the basic one, rain, where the whole atmospheric column is above 32 degrees. You get the snowflakes well above in the atmosphere, but it doesn't refreeze as it comes down to the surface.
Exactly, which leads to my absolute favorite type of weather imaginable, 33 degrees and rain.
Yeah, the worst weather you could ever have if you love winter. But then we go into sleet, where that, actually let's do freezing rain, because that's where the cold air layer is a little bit thin at the surface.
Exactly, so there's a layer above the surface essentially where this ice or snow or whatever you want to call it that's initially higher up in the atmosphere is able to melt. Yeah. But near the surface, those temperatures will drop back below the freezing point of 32 degrees, at which point you're not going to have quite enough time in the air to essentially refreeze, but when you hit the surface as liquid water, that will freeze right on contact, and that can be a serious problem for the roads.
Yeah, so that's what the layer is very thin, and then it doesn't take much freezing rain to cause problems, like only a quarter of an inch can cause some problems.
Right, like the winter storm we had back in January where it snowed very briefly. There was a winter storm warning issued by our Weather Service office for a quarter inch of freezing rain accumulation, which again, that's a big deal for power lines, trees, really everything along those lines.
Yeah, sleet is where the layer is a little bit thicker, where it's below freezing, but it doesn't stick on the surface. It bounces off the surface, so it's not as problematic.
Exactly, but for now, I'm going to take it back out to the wall to talk about a little bit something that has absolutely nothing to do with wintry precipitation, our lovely state of Florida. Starting off with our time lapse from Key West here, the WeatherStem camera located out there. A bright and sunny day here in the southern part of the state down in the Keys. Not really seeing any of that gloominess that we've been seeing here in Tallahassee. Another beautiful sunset down there in South Florida as well. Gotta love those Gulf Coast sunsets out there. For the temperatures across the state, it's really a fun journey if you go down Interstate 10. We're starting off at 76 degrees over in Jacksonville. You make that few-hour drive off to the west and you're dropping 25 degrees potentially. We're at 53 degrees in Pensacola under rainy conditions. That cold front is right over our immediate Big Bend area. So everywhere off to the east, much more humid as well as much more warm, really. Those temperatures sticking around 80 degrees even after sunset for pretty much the entire peninsula. And those dew points also show you that picture in very great detail. These dark greens, much more moist air at the surface here with those dew points getting up to 77 degrees down there in Miami. Of course, they're accustomed to seeing that pretty much year-round unless these fronts can make it all the way through the state. Up in northern Florida, we're seeing dew points starting to even try to drop into the 40s in some of those locations like Pensacola down at 50 degrees currently, as well as right here in Tallahassee at 59. And here's the concrete image here of the front. Currently, it's trying to stall out a bit over North Florida here, just getting through Tallahassee earlier on today with some rain on the backside of that front. Again, continued support of upper level moisture really behind this, helping to influence some of that rainfall out behind the front here. Even areas like Mississippi and Alabama starting to see a little bit of rain. Not really too much going on in the peninsula. Some showers lining up along Interstate 75 a little bit north of Orlando, as well as down in the inland portions of South Florida, Broward and Dade County, pushing up towards, say, Martin and Palm Beach counties as well in the southern peninsula here. A little bit of a drought situation actually forming, speaking of these dry conditions, on the southern portion of the state. Although we're going to expect to see some thunderstorm threat tomorrow to help to mitigate this just a little bit. Perhaps some increased chances of showers and storms out in those areas as that front tries to creep ever so slightly further to the east tomorrow. As for tonight, temperatures in the 70s and upper 60s for most of the peninsula, really anywhere south of Interstate 4, but much cooler air, but the rainfall sticking around for much of the Florida Panhandle. 46 degrees for the nighttime low in Pensacola and 56 degrees right here in Tallahassee with the threat of some showers sticking around. Moving into tomorrow, going from south to north across the state here, 85 degrees for pretty much everywhere along Interstate 95 in the Florida Turnpike on the east side of the state, 86 in Naples. The sunshine sticks around a bit more in Key West. And that rainfall really sticks around for most of the Florida Peninsula. Temps in the mid-80s for pretty much the entire area. The eastern coast might get a little bit of sunshine here. Areas like Melbourne, Vero Beach, Fort Pierce. Moving up to the north central Florida, you start to see the evidence of those cooler temperatures creeping in. That slow and steady march from our reds to even our blues here. We might not even hit 50 degrees for that afternoon high tomorrow in Pensacola. So for that, we're going to wrap up the show here, going to Michael with our last local look.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. And we're going to take one more look at our time lapse here. You can see we did have some blue skies earlier today, so it wasn't all of a bad day out there. Now, as we progress into the afternoon, clouds start to build, then the showers come, and then it became much cooler, going from the 70s well down into the 60s. Now, we saw the clouds lingering, but the rain has stopped here in Tallahassee. Right now, we are at 60 degrees, much cooler than it was here at the lunchtime hour. And those winds are already shifting behind that stalled out front, north at 9 miles per hour. And all the reason why we've been having the showers and the cooler conditions, again, is because of this front. It moved basically a little bit east of Tallahassee, so that's why we're in the cooler air now. But a lot of the rain associated with the system is behind the front, and so we'll be dealing with the rain for the next few days. By the time we get into Thursday afternoon, conditions will gradually improve, setting up for an awesome weekend here in Tallahassee. Now, you can see we do have some showers here in Taylor and Taylor County, a little bit of a break here in Leon County, and then some light showers out towards Gadsden County. Temperatures right now, behind the front, 59 here in Bainbridge, 57 in Quincy, and a little bit ahead of the front, 69 in Perry. So a little bit warmer ahead of that front, but you still have some showers there in Perry. Now, your dew points, the higher dew points are where the warmer air is, but it still feels muggy wherever you are. That's the only reason the dew points are lower in Bainbridge and Quincy is because the temperatures are lower. Humidity is very high everywhere across our region, and it's going to remain like this for the next 24 to 48 hours. Now the winds you can see behind the stalled out front, it is just south of Perry, and so you can see those northerly winds already coming in, bringing in that cooler air. That's why the temperatures have dropped a lot in the afternoon because of that wind switching and becoming northerly. Now for tonight's forecast, we're going to drop to around 54 degrees. We're not going to drop that much because we have the clouds lingering, and so it's not going to take a lot for us to cool. So 54 degrees with a 50% chance of showers early and then becoming cloudy after midnight, basically. Now for your day plan tomorrow, the showers do return as we're expecting another round of rain behind that stalled out front, and temperatures not warming that much because of the showers and clouds, only warming up to 60 degrees at 3 p.m. Now as we go into the overnight hours, you see the clouds might break, but we're expecting mostly cloudy skies. And then going into the afternoon hours, you expect the showers to return, but most of the heavier rain is staying up towards Alabama and to northern Georgia. But let's fast forward to our 7-day forecast, showing you the conditions improve greatly going into the weekend. Sunny skies, 57 degrees on Friday, warming up very gradually as we go into the weekend. Perfect game day at 65 degrees. Now let's wrap up the show with Jake and Brittany.
Thanks, Michael. Before, of course, we get to that fantastic weather for the weekend, a couple of more days where I'm going to be motivated to stay inside and get all my work done because it's a busy week for both of us.
Yes, for sure. Lots of exams a lot of us had this week, and that rainy weather really doesn't help my studying. It makes me lazy. It makes me want to just sleep all day.
Really? It motivates me to at least stay inside and kind of focus and get stuff done. I always put the headphones in when I'm working anyway, so I don't really hear the rain in the windows or anything like that. But again, brighter days are ahead, as we've said a couple of times here. Look at those temperatures over the weekend.
I'm so excited. Especially, it's a good weekend to introduce Thanksgiving weekend to make it feel a little more like fall. That high on Friday, 57 degrees. I think that's an amazing day.
Yeah, that's a big difference from what we've seen the last couple of cool downs we've had. Is it's really been sustained. We're not getting anywhere back above 70 degrees, not that recovery back into that sort of warm, muggy, I guess, transitional kind of weather that we've been seeing the last few weeks around here.
Yeah, I was getting so excited for a cold front to come, and then a couple of days later, it's almost 80 degrees outside again. But thankfully, this drier and cooler weather, it will stick around into next week.
Yeah, we got 2 more football games to get through here as well. Saturday again, 65 degrees for when FSU takes on Boston College. And as I've already said on my first local forecast, it's a black jersey game. I couldn't be any more excited. And I'm also really looking forward to not having to melt while wearing said black jersey in 85-degree temperatures. So really great times for everybody involved here.
That's a pretty ideal football game. But it still could be possible to get some sunburn on Saturday.
Of course, I actually did during the Clemson game. I really did not listen to the forecast that we gave here.
Keep updated with us on Twitter at twitter.com/FSU Weather.
And we're all over the rest of the social media spectrum. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU Weather.
You can also watch us live on YouTube or watch some previous shows at youtube.com/FSU Weather.
Maybe watching us right now. And we always have the Instagram. Don't forget to give the Instagram some love. I've been saying that for 2 years now. Follow us there. You can guess the URL at FSU Weather.
Yeah, we're always keeping updated on social media on any platform. You can always feel free to ask us any questions or send us pictures.
Yeah, so for all of us here at FSU Weather, I'm meteorologist Jay Carstens.
And I'm student meteorologist Brittany Bowman. Have a good night.